So Bhrigu Nandi Nadi, that's what we'll use to identify. Of course, there is BPHS, there is BNN, there is KP, there is Lal Kitab. So all of them have their own means and methods and ways to read the chart. I have my biases towards BNN, which I combine with Parashari. So that's the first part. Secondly, we are talking about paranormal energy. We're talking about ghosts. We're talking about entities. Of course, evil eye as well. Now, what is the reason that we are talking about it? So when we say paranormal energy, what exactly do we mean? Quick, quick feedback. Typical booth, pret, or
Negative energy.
negative energy. Absolutely. Anything else?
Even
Any other input?
jealousy can be turned into negative energy towards someone.
Definitely, definitely. That's also included because
Some
that's what further
rituals,
translates into an evil eye.
some rituals can be performed, unfortunately.
True. Black magic. Anything else?
Energies that didn't get the chance to leave
True.
the present realm,
Correct.
they're stuck here.
There are
And
different various words for it. Atma,
hmm,
pretatma, bhoot, or typically whatever. Anything else? और भी कुछ आएगा इसमें?
पीपल के पेड़ पे भी जो आत्मा रहती.
Okay. There is something more. There are entities, and there are entities which are part of the lower realm. That also is part of this. And there can be one more reason why these energies can even come over you. In fact, there are multiple reasons, but one of the strongly differentiating and unique reason also is that uh, you just they found you interesting. There is a magnetic pull that they found towards you. You had nothing to do
What
with
is
it,
the
but
what is the difference between entity and ghost and
I'll come to that. I'll come to
yeah.
that really. I'll share. Don't worry. So there are different forms of it. All belong to different realms, different places, different motives. If someone who has died way too early, last time we spoke about Pitrudosh and Pitrupaksh. So those are, someone when died unnaturally, before time, maybe unpleasant, unhappy, wish unfulfilled, something of that sort. So in that case, what actually happens? That soul kept on being restless, and he or she couldn't attain peace. So basically, that soul is in our realm. Now, when the soul is in our realm, what is happening? There is some of the other presence which is going to be shown. Now, if the soul is being kind, that's okay. There is no harm coming to anybody. But if that is not the case, then definitely there is something wrong. Someone's mic. Okay. So in those cases where someone couldn't attain peace and has died unnaturally, that soul is also going to be around on the earth only in our realm instead of moving forward into the further path. Other than that, there are pisachas, there are lower realm entities, like I said. Now we actually can definitely end up attracting them. And at times it has got to do a reason which is connected with your product. At times it's not even connected with your product, but then it just happens. Unfortunately, unfortunately, it can also be possible that your chart has that sense of weakness wherein you are amongst one of those who could get affected with paranormal energies or any such kind of negative energies. Uh, 2 days back, I guess yesterday, day before yesterday, we had a session with Smitaji where Sharan had asked about Jupiter Ketu. In BNN, Jupiter Ketu is a beautiful combination. One of the outcomes, one of the meanings of Jupiter Ketu is that it gives you memories. Your soul has memories of your past life, spiritual journey. So there are cases where people, when they visit either certain temples, certain Shakti Peeth, certain Jyotirling, or certain Jagruk Sthan, they tend to have a feeling of familiarity, as if I have been there. as if this seems familiar to me. Certain shloks, certain mantras, things like these. So there is a sense of familiarity in that case. In this case, in case of entities, there is a connect that we actually look forward into a person. And here we go by a combination which starts from one single planet, which does not require much of a guess. That is Rahu. So you can actually be affected by entities, even if you're in a public place, or maybe you had nothing to do with that particular soul. Maybe you were somewhere around a negative energy location, could be a smashan or something like that. Then also it is possible that one can actually attract entities. The other example which Shubhraviji gave, that there are people who actually tend to have jealousy towards others, and they can tend to do mischief things. Could be for jealousy, could be for some kind of practical gain, could be for some kind of selfish motive. There are all kind of people in the world. We cannot really uh, stop everyone, or be able to recognize everyone what intent people have. We live a life with love, care, trust, belief, friendship, etc. But somewhere, somehow, if someone is giving a vested motive, a very dark intent towards us, things actually are going to be difficulty. So, what do we do in that case? Such cases are also there. Yesterday, I just mentioned you earlier. Yesterday, we were discussing a case, a real-time case, someone who is actually related to our group only. We were having the interaction going on, and something similar to this has happened in that particular family's case. And all of a sudden, things went wrong. I've included that even in the examples that we'll be sharing further. So there are people who basically make use of either black magic. I won't call it dark tantra, but it's more of like totka definitely can be a nice word that can be added to it. But doing things, rituals and procedures whereby they can bring unhappiness and problems into other people's life. Now this can reach out to us.
Dual signs are what?
Charanjit Singh ji, could you please repeat?
Sorry, I didn't want to ask anything. It was
Okay, all right, no problem. Thank you.
sorry.
So this can be given in the form of food. It could be given in the form of water. It can be mantra chanting. It can be vashikaran. There are groups. There are groups running around everywhere across all kind of social media where people charge certain X amount of money, and you have to upload photographs. You have to give their details, and there they are. They are ready to carry out various kind of activities on behalf of you. Some of them work, some of them don't work. But then the point is, this is something which ends up spoiling someone's life completely. So jealousy or vested motives, property, such kind of reasons can also be there, whereby people have various purposes. Now I've added pictures here. I'm sorry if they seem graphical, but then the idea was like, just it's only a reflection of something which is actually happening in real life. Although it might look graphical, but it's a truth. It's not something which is new today, and maybe one or two cases happen. No, there are plenty. There are plenty. A lot of people are suffering with their own kind of problems. So kindly forgive in case someone finds this graphical. Priyaji, you asked entities. Now, entities are the
Right.
Yeah.
lower realm beings. They are also creation of by the same deity, same power who has created us. They also are created by Mahadev or Vishnu Dev or Brahma, whatever you want to call them, no problem. But they thrive on our negative energy, on our fear. They completely thrive on our fear. That's what they live on. So imagine we are at some place where probably it's dark. Like, let's take a couple of scenarios. It's probably 10:30, 11:30 at night, lonely, not much of street light, or maybe forest area, something like this, and we're feeling afraid. We might even be at our own home and we kind of feel afraid. This whole fear thing, I've given just one instance, but this habit starts cultivating inside. The fear starts cultivating inside, and somewhere it starts living in us that there is something wrong. There is something that is giving us a fear. There is something around, someone around. Now, this fear is something which they seek out. They are very much part of the realm, a different dimension altogether. We might feel we are right now we are alone. So wherever y'all are sitting, wherever I'm seated right now, I'm all alone over here. There is nobody around. But no, that's not the case. And to answer this thing, this is something which comes as a part of not science but metaphysics. Something which is not in a physical form, not known to us, but then yes, it has its own energetic existence. So these are those realm beings. Now, people who have experienced or have some kind of flavor of OBE, outer body experience, or maybe Akashic records, exploring Akashic records. These people can actually narrate you when they go into that OBE mode and what they experience. So there are such kind of entities even around that time. But one has to be really capable to deal with them, which is the kind of learning that they go through. And not every other person who actually claims to be doing OB is an expert in OB. So please be careful about that. There's a huge marketing campaign that runs around online. So we got to be careful about it. So coming back to the topic, these beings, they live and belong to a different realm. But in our realm, they do definitely get a presence, and it's the fear which pulls them towards it. It's the negative energy that pulls them towards it, and that's how it can be. It could also be that someone did a black magic on some other person, like in the previous case that we saw. Someone has done some kind of a black magic, and they wanted to harm the other person, but in the process, what they ended up doing is something far more bad. They ended up inviting much more stronger energies over here. The portal left open. It's definitely going to create an impact on someone's life, and they are going to be around. So these are those beings. Now, as per Bhrigu Nandi Nadi, BNN
I,
astrology.
I
Now,
guess Vastu also matters, right? In these kind of cases.
absolutely it does. Absolutely it does. Uh, Last time I had taken this case where Vastu could have been an example if we had someone with a Vastu expertise to discuss around, but we purposely didn't touch upon it. But one of the sections we'll be taking it up, and I have some really good cases over there as well from the
Because
paranormal side.
when I would want to leave a room just because I feel like there's something standing there, that's another reason. Like that's another thing, that there's a negative energy around, right?
Correct.
Even that feeling of like leaving because I know that there could be something standing in the room.
So these beings, basically, these beings can also be around to those people who are actually doing mantra chanting. And something which is not a Nama mantra, something which is much more beyond that with Bijakshar. And someone who is doing this without a Guru Diksha. Now, when these kind of chantings are done, even they show their presence because there's a huge amount of energy that you create, which we don't probably realize. We don't feel it. But which is why it is said that you need to have presence of Guru, guidance of Guru, and their blessings. They'll tell you each and every step what you need to be doing, how you need to be doing. So there are people who just pick up mantras. A couple of months back in our group itself, it had happened. Someone just came across, someone made a claim about troubles going on for legal and all, and the other person said, do Baglamukhi mantra, and someone just straight posted the Bijakshar mantra of Ma Baglamukhi. Now, that's a joke. You cannot do that. And there are people, I actually have realized that there are people who are actually doing it, blindly doing it. So when being questioned, are you ready to face this kind of energy? And they get into a panic mode, like, no, 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 I never thought this is going to happen. I just thought it is a ma. I came across this mantra. I started doing. So doing something like this also invokes those energies, because if the person is having a vested motive that I am on this path, I'm doing the mantra of ma, but with an intent to acquire something. Typically, the word for it is called siddhi. So my whole motive is that मुझे सिद्धि चाहिए, मुझे कुछ ताकत प्राप्त करनी है, कुछ पावर्स प्राप्त करने हैं. तो ऐसे में तो these energies पहले आएंगी, माँ बाद में आएगी. माँ के आने तक आप शायद बच्चों वैसी परिस्थिति होगी. Because these energies, they can satisfy, they can fulfill your wishes, they can give you things. But then what will be the outcome? Very bad. So one has to be careful कि even if I'm doing japa and सिर्फ भगवान का नाम ले रहे हैं तो भी ऐसे हो सकता है, definitely हो सकता है, which is why we don't do things without a guidance, without guru diksha, and don't become a target into it. Now, as per BNN, which is Bhrigu Nandi Nadi, Bhrigu Nandi Nadi is Rishi Bhrigu, who is among the Saptarshis, the seven sages. I'm sure all of us know this story. Uh, they were created by Brahmaji, and Swayam Mahadev gave them enlightenment and knowledge of the cosmos. So, amongst them is Rishi Bhrigu, who is one of the Sishya. Next Sishya is Nandi, and these two have actually created, or rather, I shouldn't say created, but it's a knowledge which came all the way from Mahadev, and further works happened on it, and we receive it further as Bhrigu Nandi Nadi. But unfortunately, with time, there was a lot of intelligence, knowledge, information in this that was lost. Plenty many reasons, not just one, plenty invasions, battles, and Gyan used to be shared and passed on verbally, not written records. So we have lost a lot of information, but still we do have some of it, which is what we actually are thriving on and living by. So as per Rishi Bhrigu, the two key the two key planets which play a role in being able to identify whether the person can be affected with any kind of paranormal energies or not are Rahu and Moon. So Rahudev, Chandradev, these are the two planets who actually play the most important role for someone to be able to get affected. Very important planets, many a times ignored, and although the combinations will be there in many of the charts, most of the charts will have it. But does that mean each and every person is going to be affected? No, that's not the case. Because then we actually dive in further. We actually have to see the trines, we have to see the conjunctions, degrees, who's heading where, Namansh, so on and so forth. But in simple plain words, if we were to answer, which are the two main planets who play a most important role? That's Rahu and Moon. There was a poll we did in the group, and there I had asked which houses can actually get affected. Most of you have answered 6, 8, and 12. As much as I recollect, until I last saw maybe an hour back, there's only one person who actually has given the right answer. That's Piyush Baid. Piyush has actually given the right answer. And there is one more person, one or two more people who have given thumbs down. I am still supporting thumbs down as well, but thumbs up as well. Thumbs down, I'm agreeing, because there are cases where it is not necessary that the person was supposed to suffer with this, but it just ended up happening. Interlinked destinies. So those are the cases where such things can also happen. But otherwise, it is not the house number on which you could decide while seeing a chart that this person will be affected by any kind of such kind of negative energies or not. It can happen across any house, absolutely any house. The house number has got nothing to do with this. At least that's principally going by BNN, and so far BNN has never failed me by blessings of Mahadev. That moment has not happened yet that the readings went wrong. So things have been quite accurate in terms of measuring things. Other than this, there is one more, the most important, the justice maker, Shanidev. Shanidev does play a role. And of course, this role has to come. It had to come. There's absolutely no denial about it. But my humble request, let us not get carried away thinking that Rahu, Moon, Saturn, they talk about only paranormal. No. They are the ones who represent paranormal. Absolutely no. They are someone who could actually be indicators of a possibility, because wherever Rahu is sitting or Moon is sitting or Saturn is sitting, they are seated over there because of my prarabdha. I'm the one who's responsible. It's all because of my prarabdha. No one else is responsible. So my prarabdha, it's my contribution. It's something which I've earned in my previous life, and that is exactly what I'm going to live by in this particular life. So I cannot blame anybody for it. But yes, there are indications with Jyotish whereby we could understand that the said person can actually get affected. Parashari, I recollect Parashari as one of the rules wherein if Shanidev is in the Kendra and Rahu Moon are forming some kind of a relationship, then also it's an indicator of the person getting affected by paranormal energies. However, BNN goes to the next level, wherein even if these combinations are happening, but if the person has actually strengthened the eighth house, so when I say strengthen the eighth house, okay, at least activated the eighth house, if not strengthened, option two is strengthened as well. In that case, the possibility of something of this sort happening reduces big time. Additionally, if there is a guru in the person's life, it's a blessing. Nothing's going to go wrong. At least the person will be like, barely affected. Ke chhu ke chala gaya. Problem came and touched and just got through with it. So, like I said earlier, there are various factors that we need to take into consideration when we are looking at this. Now, we might probably know that, okay, I'm amongst those people whose chart can actually get affected with paranormal energy. What do I do? Simply just hold the hand of your Ishta. Your Ishta has been there with you always. It's not reflected in your chart today. It's been there with you prior this life, and will be with you even later. So you have to be with your Ishtadev. Just completely ignoring it off, that's the wrong thing. That is one way wherein you could actually make sure that at least there is some positive energy which is going to take care of you. Other than that, what else can I do? Now, you cannot do anything in terms of stopping people to feel jealousy towards you, or making them feel that, hey, listen, think about me in this way. Don't feel jealous about me. Don't feel angry towards me. Don't do anything. We cannot do anything over there. But what we could do is just do your part of, being nice and being careful. Not everything coming from everyone is supposed to be eaten. Straight up fact. Like it or not, doesn't matter. One has to use their common sense. They have to use their brains. So we have to be really careful about it. What you're eating, where you're going. If you feel certain vibrations at certain kind of places, if you feel presence of, some kind of uncomfortability or some kind of negativity at certain places, don't go there. Stay away. Don't get into that unwanted uh, so-called adventure of life. Oh, I want to experience a dark haunted place. No, because these things are actually not meant to be played with. This is really serious. Someone's life can actually be shattered. I'll share a couple of cases with you. It is painful to even study such cases, and we are trying to work on them, somehow trying to see if we could find a way whereby we could help them out. So if we are aware that our chart does hold a possibility of something like this, then be careful. For people who are not even aware, at least one can use their common sense. You know, so whether a moon is affected or not, irrespective of that, basic common sense can be used or by all of us, and we could take care and ensure that we safeguard and protect ourselves. Because is the karmic action again what you're going to do? There are things in your hand, free will. ESRG shared about this, so I need not even emphasize about it. There is a free will element which we all of us have, and we need to be taking care of it. Focus on that. Last time I was informed that I went a little fast with my sharing the cases, so it was difficult. So I would request you all to just have a look. I will not rush this time so that you all have enough time to go through it. Please have a look at the charts and then let's discuss. My apologies to those who actually seek information on nakshatra. I have not included because, like I said, it's BNN path that we are taking. So this itself, what you see in the screen, is more than enough for us to be able to read the chart. The planets, the houses, the degrees, Lagna chart is more than enough to read everything. Okay, now let's read the chart. Feel free to reply, please.
Yes.
Any questions? What do you see? What kind of relationships do you all see forming up over here? Anybody, any comments? Technically, if you were to see, Moon is in Jupiter's Rashi, 7th house. Rahu is sitting in 9th house. This person is, as it is, having a severe issue with the Pitru Dosh. But technically, there is no direct relationship happening between Rahu and Moon. So then, how can things go wrong? What say?
What about eighth house Lord being with Ketu?
Yes, correct. 8th house Lord is with Ketu at 21 degree, Ketu 7 degree. But 8th house also is like, once you walk on the occult path, it is not necessary that, at least in BNN. So I shouldn't make a statement which is about the other methods, because BNN method, I really find it appropriate. Uh, as for Parashari, one of the major rules, technically, if you see, Rahu Moon relationship is also not happening. Saturn is not directly connected with Rahu. Okay, let me share about this case. This person currently going through Sadhasati. Sadhasati, one moment, just one moment. The Yabitha, when it started, yeah, it was just Sadhasati only, correct, that's right. So this person is going through a Sadhasati, and things begin somewhere around last year during Mahakumbh. So typically got carried away. I want to visit Mahakumbh with along with 2 or 3 of his friends. This person goes to Kumbh Mela. And he reached there pretty well in time, not towards the end of the days, but somewhere in between where the mid phase of the Mela was going on. Now they happened to there was absolutely no plan technically that where you have to live, what are you going to do, how you manage things. They just made sure that we have to go there. That's fine. They visit over there, and like most of the people have done, they happen to visit a particular a pandal where there were a few sadhus living, and they requested them, can they live there? So initially, the sadhu who was sitting over there, he allowed. He said, okay, fine, no problem. So all two, two, three, four friends, 3, 4 friends, they were living over there. But that very first day, the same day, by the time it was evening, the sadhu made only this person whose chart you all are seeing, only made this person stay over there and asked rest of them to find place somewhere else, whatever reason. So now this guy is living over here. In fact, he didn't even leave with his friends that, oh, come on, let me go with them. No, he chose to be over here. Now, what happens next? The guy is totally mesmerized with things this sadhu is sharing with him, talking to him, things about spirituality, various stories, mantras, and how things work out. At the look of it, he seems agori, but he's not. He's on the path of it, but technically he's not an agori. And of course, he's not Digambar. Digambar is complete naked state. He's not Digambar either. Now, this person is spending time with him 2, 3, 4, 5 days. He comes back home from the Mela, and his wife sees certain transformations in him. All of a sudden, his conversations are like, let's say the husband and wife have gone out somewhere, they're visiting somewhere else, and on the street there's some broken chappal or some kind of garbage fallen over there, and he said, "उसमें महादेव है, वो चप्पल में महादेव है, वो garbage में महादेव है, वो बच्चे में महादेव है." He started saying Mahadev in everything. That's how he started talking. One side of it is like, okay, good, you're seeing Mahadev into every being. That's very good. But this wasn't normal. This technically actually was not normal. Things somehow go on, and then the new episode starts. These guys are connected over the phone. The sadhu wants him to come to Ujjain, somewhere nearby Ujjain. They're making a temple, and he wants him to come there. The guy leaves everything. He leaves everything behind, gives a damn about his family, his job. In fact, on job front, there is a lot of struggles going on because of his Sadhe, and he isn't a kind of a person who can, head on face the situation. Chalo dekha jayega. I'm falling once, I'll stand up again, I'll try again, I'll try again. No, he's not in that category. So, unfortunately, now what happens is like this guy leaves to Jen and starts working for him. You look at this guy until yesterday wearing an expensive denim, sunglasses, hep t-shirts. I mean, absolute urban look. From there, he's absolutely totally transformed into a even no, I cannot even say a dhoti because it's not even a dhoti. It's you can rather call it a short-heighted dhoti, ekdam chota sa. He just made sure that I'm wrapped and some jhabba kurta on top. Totally transformed. And what's he doing over there? Labor work, making the temple for the sadhu. Things are going bad between the family. The wife is stressed out. The whole family is stressed out. They somehow get in touch, and month or so, or maybe more, he spends over. Then he comes back. And every now and then, there is a drama going on between the sadhu and him, and he'll start doing things whatever he says. Now the sadhu next episode comes when the sadhu tells him to visit Ma Kamakhya, and I also visited Ma Kamakhya. So I've been on this case since quite some time. And I spoke to them and they told me they'll be visiting Ma Kamakhya. And said, okay, fine, let's catch up over there. I would love to meet. And since the sadhu is coming, let's see who is he. the great person who is actually making sure that you are forcing someone into doing certain things. Because by then it was evident. This is not sadhana or, a relationship between a guru diksha and a guru and a sishya. No, not at all. This is absolutely dirty. We go to Ma Kamakhya. I tried my best. Somehow things didn't work out. We didn't get a chance to meet up. But at Ma Kamakhya, things went south. His wife also joined him. And somehow the sadhu couldn't actually make control on this guy. And this guy suddenly spoke with his wife while returning that I feel this sadhu is not a right person. He doesn't have any powers and all. I got carried away. And I just want to be away from all this. So Mahakamakya is a very powerful stun, so it's not a joke to be, things over there with something done with a bad intent. Not every time it can survive. Same thing happened. There was a blessing. And that's what I would call it. And we could see that transformation. Things were going beautiful, absolutely perfect. Until I should say probably week or 10 days, because I got to know about the latest update around 3 days back. 3 or 4 days back, I got the update. And until then, things have been going fine. He had been showing improvement, changes, responsibilities. Slowly, things were getting better. And all of a sudden, what happens now is this gentleman is sitting stripped, naked, on his terrace, visiting temple around, complete naked, without a single piece of cloth on his body. It started the fights. Fights were there even before. Yes, they were there. There were arguments. He used to not tell his wife and give away money to that sadhu for building temple. In fact, since there was a job problem, he used to borrow money from his friends and give it to the sadhu. That's how he went to extreme lengths. Without bothering that there is shortage of money at their own house, he kept on doing this. So now what he does is like the latest update was he's moving around naked, wasting money, absolutely dirty, abusive language, argument, and fight with his wife, people around. He's just not bothered at all. And in between this, around a month or so back, yeah, around a month or back, there was someone who visited them. Three sadhus visited them at his house. He didn't inform his wife. He just kept on telling her since morning that there are some great saints who are going to come at our home today. Suddenly they arrive and he introduces his wife to them as these are Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh. And those guys are taking all the pride. They are being served food and all kind of avbhagat is being done to them, pampered and whatnot. Now finally it's the time to leave, so they need money. They ask him money. His wife is very clear. We won't give you a penny more than $1,000. That's it, over and out. But the guy gets into fight mode, fights real bad. He arranges 11,000, calling up his friend, taking money from him, and offers them 11,000. They're not ready to leave. They want 25,000. Eventually, things went so bad, so extreme. He had to make that arrangement of 25,000 and make the payment. Seems like recovery guys have come for some kind of bank loan pending. That's how it looks like. And these people are calling themselves as Brahma, Vishnu, and Mahesh. Now, what is going on in this guy's life by that sadhu, the so-called sadhu? I don't mind even sharing a spec, but eventually it will not be appropriate because this will go into a public domain. So I don't want to do that, respecting everyone's privacy. But this guy, he's been blindly following him, and what we based on whatever we studied and the time spent and the interactions done and uh, besides me, there are far much more learned, I should say, well atoned people, far more knowledgeable people who are guiding in terms of how we could actually help this guy. So based on what we realized, there are around 4 to 5 souls which have been tied around this guy in order to control him. No one will actually behave in such a manner. All of a sudden, you rip off your clothes and you go around your city naked. That doesn't happen. It's not a joke. Just think about it. Even if we were to think about maybe, there is some kind of a madness with this guy, let's look at his moon. The chart is before you. What do you think? Why should this happen? Technically, Rahu and Moon, there is no relationship being formed. But still, in spite of that, Rahu Venus 2, 6, 10 trine. In Bhrigu Nandi Nadi, we work by trines. So 2, 6, and 10, the Rashi numbers, not the house numbers, the Rashis. 2, 6, 10 trine gives me Rahu Venus coming together. And Venus has a direct relationship with Moon. That's how I'm able to build up the relationship between Rahu and Moon as well. And that's what gives me a clear indication about the role of Rahu Moon. The reason to share this example, it might not seem always clear that there is a relationship happening or not happening, but there might be a very strong suffering that the person might be going through. This is a case which is going on right now, as I shared with you all. We are still working on it, and I just pray that Mahadev helps him out. Things work out well with him. This is a second case study. Please have a look at it, and then I'll share the background of it. This is the same case study, by the way, which I had shared even in last session, but things went very fast. So my apologies for that. Now, quick recap about this person. Works for Government of India in the department which is meant to be, consulting arm, which advises government and the top officials for the scientific studies and research, things like these. He has his papers published, which are being studied at top institutes and universities internationally. A man of great caliber, absolutely great caliber. What went wrong with him? Two things. Of course, Rahu Moon is not in a good state, and there's some more extra love that comes from Shanidev as well, from 3, 7, 11 trine. Other than that, so when Rahu Moon are together, obviously Rahu is going to play games with the moon, with the mind. A lot of imaginary ideas, things that might not even be true. A lot of what is the right word? Things like conspiracy theories. Oh, someone is going to do this with me. Something like that is going to happen. Something that is not real, does not exist, and I bring it from outside and I just create a blunder over it. Keep thinking about it. Rahu Moon. I have Saturn as well, 5 degree, 14, and Rahu being at 0. Now, you might say Rahu is at 0 degree over here. So, come on, this can go to the previous house. Agreed? Rahu will go to the previous house, so it will go into house number 4. However, in BNN, like I said, we form trines. We also look at the planets next to the house. That's how we create the combinations of the planets. So even if Rahu was to going to go into the next house or the previous house, it makes no difference to me. Outcome is still going to be the same. So it's Saturn, Rahu, Moon, trouble. Big time trouble. So apart from the psychological problems with Uncle, there was black magic being done, which happened within their own family. Plus, there's been issues with EvilEye at his office space because this man is someone who is at no matter what, he's not ready to take bribe. He's just not ready to give up or take a path which is unethical income. He's extremely clear about it. Matlab, that movie dialogue, "Jhukega nahi sala." Sorry for the word, but that's exactly what this person is. Besides being knowledgeable, very firm on his principles, very firm. I will not compromise. You do whatever. The whole department went against him. So now, whether I have to call it evil eye or whether we have to say there is some kind of black magic over even from their side, we really don't know about that part. But definitely, there has been black magic within the family and relatives, and that too for a very silly and stupid reason. The silly, stupid reason is uh, there's this cousin who actually likes him, and she had expected him to get cozy with her. Didn't work out. And then there was this neighbor. So another neighbor sitting, living next to them, adjacent house, even she had that kind of intent wherein she actually wanted to make sure that, there is some relationship built up. The husband works for some kind of forces and isn't really stationed over here. So the lady had quite very different kind of intent that let's spend some time. It didn't really work out. He never used to entertain her. She'll try to visit their home with some of the other pretexts, but he would never entertain. Eventually, things went south when uh, much later they realized there were certain things that were given to it, and his father, as an uncle, suddenly showed very severe, very bad, and erratic behavior. Sudden change of behavior, like imagine driving a car, just your family, husband, wife, and the child driving the car, and suddenly the husband is shooting up the speed up to 90, 80, 90 at a point where it is impossible for you to even control the car at that speed, and it's just going to be a sharp turn. So the result is going to be all you're going to do is like go flying up. The whole family would die. So there have been such kind of moments which they have gone through wherein the husband is absolutely not in senses. Like you can just imagine how you would control such a person with such kind of rash driving if you were sitting next to that person. Just assumption. I never want such a moment to come with anyone, but just try to think it in that way. If you were sitting next to that person and you had to bring that person back to senses and make him stop the vehicle, no sane person will ever do this. And definitely not someone of his caliber. Just not possible. Pretty well educated, beyond education, so strong. But मेरा नहीं तो किसी का नहीं types, or maybe you could call it the typical insanity of Kakaka Kiran. There are such kind of people. There are people for like silly reasons things go so bad. अंधे का बेटा अंधा. These words caused Mahabharata. So a lot more worse can happen in life otherwise as well. So we got to be careful. So there are things which we can take care of, which we could try to avoid. And then eventually, if it is part of the prarabdha, we can't really help because there are things wherein there are certain cases where it's part of the prarabdha. Now, in this case, Rahu and Moon have been sitting together. It is a part of the prarabdha only. It's being there, and situation has happened. But the previous case was totally different. In previous case, that's still a via a long cut relationship. And by the way, the core reason for the previous guy to keep running behind that sadhu, other than whatever sadhu did to make sure that this guy comes behind him, but this guy also is running away from his responsibilities and the fear of competition, the failures that he came across and the difficulties he came across. So there have been a major reason why he's been trying to find a way to run away. But in this case, that's not the case. The person has been absolutely greatly successful, really well off, intellectual guy. But things went south, very bad. I'll share the third case study. This has come to me via someone I know, many of us know, and this case came around 3, 4 days back, but we could start working on it just yesterday because until then I thought, okay, it's just a health case, health issue. But then when and it was a very long message. So when I actually went through the message and I realized, no, this is not. There is something very strongly different about this case. Please go through the chart and then I'll share with you all. This chart belongs to a lady. Now, Auntie must be in the age bracket of, all right, her son must be around 25, maybe. One moment. 29-year-old. Son is 29-year-old. Yes, she's going through Saturn Mahadasha, and it has happened during the Saturn Mahadasha. So 2020, she didn't get COVID. That didn't happen. A year or two after that, she happened to suffer from typhoid, and usual typhoid. That is okay. A year or two after that, suddenly one day, she gets too sick. Reason unknown. No idea. Checkups are done. And what they found out is, in fact, it's great that they found it out, but damage had already taken its job. There was water accumulation inside the brain. Water somehow got accumulated inside the brain. They do open surgery to drain out the water. I can just actually imagine, like, what troubles they have been through. The water is being drained out because that's the only way how you could do this. But by then, the number of hours or days or time water stayed there, it actually caused the damage. So the lady has been bedridden almost like 3 or 4 years now. And in between post surgery, they reached a point wherein the doctor said, you are probably wasting money on ventilator. But imagine the faith the family kept. They kept on fighting, kept on taking care of her. Finally, she woke up and but still has been on completely on bedridden, not able to take care, not able to speak. She speaks with her eyes. That's how she communicates, sadly. Let's go to the chart. Rahu Moon, the relationship is via 3-7-11 trine. Pretty obvious. Pretty obvious. Jupiter could have helped, yes, but Jupiter is how many degree and it is retro. So it has its own karmic baggage to take care of. When the doctors have analyzed this case and all the number of doctors, various number of second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, 10 uh, opinions taken by the family from various number of doctors, none of them has said that this case is usual. All they say, water going inside the brain, as per their words. These are not my words. In fact, none of them is my words. Water going inside the brain, usual, होता है, हो सकता है. But it's one in a million kind of a case, or one in a lakhs kind of a case. Extremely rare that such a thing will happen, and to such an extent it will happen. Just not possible. Even today, she is bedridden. She is speaking and conveying via her eye movements, unable to talk. Yes, Ketu in eighth house. That's there. But trust me, it's a great strength, huh? Please, my humble request, don't think about that. Oh, Ketu आ गए अभी 8वें घर में तो बैंड बजने वाली है. जी नहीं. That's not the case. That's just not the case. She's been doing very. She's not got any kind of initiation or anything, but has been extremely spiritual in terms of her day-to-day routine, what she used to be doing. And Durga Saptashati ka part she's been doing for years with all her faith. For some reason. Things we don't know today, maybe tomorrow, not maybe tomorrow. I'm sure tomorrow we will get to hear from her own mouth what made her do that. There will be a day that will come when she will talk. But at the moment, she is completely bedridden, unable to even speak, and the possibility definitely is there. Now, the question comes, how come suddenly something of this sort has happened? As of the moment, even there's a major issue. She is still on liquid diet, and there is a major issue with digestion. Pretty obvious. One look, it's pretty clear. Digestion will have problem. Upper abdomen, lower abdomen will have problems. Of course, on the brain, it's already done its drama. That has happened. But this whole incident hasn't happened just like that. Because on the opposite side, we also have Saturn and Mars. There has been a set of action which has happened. A set of action as in, now, there are two parts. I did the reading purely BNN, pure chart reading. And then we have someone who is, like in the beginning I said, there are far much more better people, highly knowledgeable people that I interact and work with, get to learn with. When they see that particular chart, they had certain reading based on the energies that they could feel and sense. And what I read and what they say, now there is a clear, the verdict is the same. The replies is pretty same. There has to be some kind of a fall or an accident or a push and a blackout when this lady is just not aware. Auntie is absolutely unaware of what is happening and something went wrong. And the next moment, all she knows is this. And there they go. They rush her up to the hospital and is being addressed and attended. Even today, she's having the problem with the abdomen, both upper and lower. Digestion is issue. Living on liquids. Difficult but sad. Now, who's the culprit over here? Someone in the doubt circle. So, to much extent, BNN does give answers, indicative answers of that as well. And then it's much more than BNN, I would say, or more than Parashar, or more than any forms of astrology that we use. It's our own sixth sense. The one who reads the chart, it's their job. If how uh, you know how intuitive that particular person is who is dealing with the chart, and how attached you are, how keen you are in terms of trying to help that person. And based on that, the blessings will come. But the answer is pretty clear. There is a female, there's a female involved, and there is money involved. So money and female are involved in terms of causing this worst incident in her life. And the culprit out here is uh, auntie's Jethani. Jethani as in uh, husband's younger brother's wife. You doesn't ma protect. The protection has come, Priyaji. She came out of coma, a stage where the doctors said you are wasting money by keeping her alive on support system. The blessing has come. And the chart clearly says it's a prarabdha. This is a pure prarabdha. In fact, when I discussed the case, the reply was she's going through a prarabdha. She has to go through it. I'm sorry to say this. I am not clean either. I am born over here. That means even I have my own flaws and problems and mistakes and errors and issues. None of us is absolutely perfect. So I am here with an intent to clean my prarabdha, clear it up. So are y'all. And for some reason, we all of us have connected, talking, interacting, sharing, good news, bad news, both, talking to each other in our times of problems as well, sharing some jokes as well. At least I do. I don't know about y'all. I do. So there is a past life connect, which is what is connecting us, and under a platform we come together. Each one of us is going through their own prarabdha. None of us is spared from it. Ma actually has still given the blessing, but what one has to go through will go through, because none of the deities will clear your pending prarabdha. It is not their job. Else the whole Srishti will collapse. The whole structure of the creation will collapse. That's not possible. Bhagwan Krishna was born, he had to live his prarabdha. He he left his life. I mean, the departure of Bhagwan Krishna, that also is part of the story. I'm sure you all know it. Same is with Bhagwan Ram. Mahadev had to go through all this. Who amongst us is going to, be able to survive or rather escape? Yes, there is a way to definitely handle it, but that free will part of the action is something that we do by our own means. बाकी जो होना है वो तो होना है. वही वही जो राम रची राखा. It is meant to happen. It will happen. In our hands, what is there? Probably you minimize the intensity of it. That punch, that injury would be subtle. Just छू के चला गया. निकल लिया उसमें से जल्दी से. Small things in life matters. Very small incidents, how we're dealing with others, how we're treating others, how we are talking to others. Very small things matter. Of course, large things cannot be ignored and shouldn't be ignored. But that's the way of life. Now, one wants to do this with a fear that tomorrow things could go wrong or bad with me, which is why I want to behave nicely. Or you really just want to be nice and good? That's the question. So these are the three cases which I wanted to share with you all. Coming back to the same point of initial, the purpose to share. Hey, yes, knowledge, of course. But other than that, there are things that we can do. There are things we can ensure. There are things we could avoid to safeguard ourselves, our loved ones, our family, our own life. And these are not the only three cases. Unfortunately or fortunately or by coincidence, I don't know why. Some of you know about this, who were there in the chat room, even who were participating in this show. So they are aware that I have a collection of such kind of cases. Somehow it just happens. Maybe it's Mahadev's blessing and his part of will that I have to play my role in their prarabdha. In fact, it's my prarabdha as well. So that's it. Any questions? Look forward to interact with you all.
Thank you for sharing these charts. It makes a little bit of a sense, at least. Like, we can look at the charts and at least get some idea. And then obviously there's freedom.
Just a point to be shared. I made sure I spoke with them. I had their permissions, the family's approval, their complete agreement. Only after that the charts were shared. So please be assured, none of the privacy has been disrespected or no one's emotions have been dishonored. That's been taken care of. Anybody, any questions?
So, what can one do to kind of protect, or is it just that it's prarabdha and a person has to undergo that and then leave everything in God's hand?
Okay. See, if it's part of Prarabdha, if it has to happen, it has to happen. Now, at the moment, uh, when the agenda, or rather, if this was a teaching session or something wherein we are going to deep dive into this particular single topic itself, we are going to deep dive. So there will be all sort of permutation combinations and parameters that I would be looking into, and then we try to analyze and arrive whether what are the possibility of this thing happening, because not every Rahu moon is going to give paranormal. I have cases wherein they have seen the non-living ones, or rather, let me be upfront, they are seeing ghosts with their open eyes. So I'm doing this reading of a girl, single, unmarried, and I'm from her chart, I'm sensing there's something wrong with a set of difficulty as well as a gift to her elder sister. And then I ask her, the conversation proceeds, and I tell her she's able to see things, right? And it was a total setback because I'm saying this based on this person's chart that your sister is actually able to see energies, people who have died, and the reply comes, she sees our grandmother with her open eyes walking around. There have been many such kind of cases. Not every Rahu moon is going to be bad, so let's not press any kind of panic button. Absolutely not. But to answer your question, Priyaji, there are two category people. One are aware, second are unaware. Unaware are those who are like they probably don't even know the existence of astrology, or even if they are aware, okay, there is something called astrology, still they are not into it, and they're just living the life freely, whichever way, by prarabdha or by their will, or maybe unknowingly, they are at a higher realm of the chakra because they are very clear what I want from my life, what I want from universe, and they are living it. That's it, over and out. There are many people who belong to that category. And there are people who are aware of the subject of astrology. They are aware of spirituality. So at least for the ones who are aware, they realize there is something of this sort. Be on your path of Ishta. Your Ishta Dev is the only biggest support and the biggest supporting arm which is going to stand with you, no matter what. Absolutely no matter what. Even if that combination is there, is it a matter of fear? No, because uh, there is a certain combination that we have for cancer. And if I was to tell you the combination, trust me, more than half of the group members will actually panic out thinking that, oh, I'm going to die of cancer. Because I am aware, well aware, there are a group members, the moment they get across a free, with due respects, but a free uh, remedy, the moment it lands up, they want to grab over it and do trial error. And it's a problem it creates. So let's not do that. Just focus on our Ishta. Things will be fine. By the way, the last case study, uh, this auntie had been wearing stones she's been wearing Jupiter with diamonds. She's been wearing Hakeek. Black Hakeek. Yeah, she was wearing black Hakeek, which is supposedly said to be for Saturn. And other than that, also a couple of more. She was wearing, I think, Firoza. She was wearing Firoza as well, and two more stones. I asked on whose guidance were these worn. Absolutely no reply. And then I am told that some person from some other religion had said that you should wear these, and that's why she wore it. Now, absolutely no problem or disrespect to any religion. Certainly not. But as Sanatanis, they're far beyond. When the world didn't know that Earth rotates around the sun, we had Surya Siddhanta. We knew the time light takes to travel from there to here. Let's not act foolish, get carried away, believe on blind replies, believe on remedies being distributed around freely, and walk over it. And there you why I've always been wanting to wear a certain stone. I want to grab over it. I've heard Mercury Penne say business बहुत high shoot up hota hai. Great blessings come. Don't even dare do that. We don't wear anything. Have you ever seen any of the admins wearing anything? Like nothing. What I'm wearing is something different, and that's got to do with my spiritual path. But for the planetary support and all, absolutely nothing. You don't need. My Ishta is more than enough. My Mahadev is there. He takes care.
So there are two questions in the chat.
Yeah, I'll take care. If someone is a victim of such things, then how can they remove it from the person? Komalji, okay. And what if someone has Moon Rahu conjunction and comes across someone who's afflicted by entities? Don't worry. Don't worry. If you are talking about your case, Rachna ji, you don't have to worry because you are well aware you are on what path. So why do you have to worry? Chill karo ji aap.
Okay, ji. My niece has that conjunction.
No. Nothing to worry. If your niece follows a certain path that I've said, then that's enough. Nothing to worry. Relax.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, thanks.
Komal ji, if someone is a victim of such a things, how can they remove it from the person? A very difficult question. Very honestly, very difficult question. First of all, getting to know about it itself is a challenge that you clearly came to know that something of this sort is there. Because not every behavior is gonna be like the way we get to see in all those YouTube videos. These cases, by the way, please note, these cases that I've shared with you all, none of them have shown a behavior, the kind of behavior you get to see on various YouTube channels where people are acting or reacting on the kind of various movement, head movement, hair movement, and what all not body movement they do. And that's how you get to know, okay, there is some entity in their body. I don't want to comment about anything of that sort. But these three cases, that's not the case. That's not the case. The person who just got into the grip of that sadhu, this guy finally now has started doing some such a behavior which is totally different. But to be honest, even the sadhu knows that this guy has reached a saturation point. Financially, this guy is totally broke, shattered, over. There's nothing left with him. I mean, even if this guy can spend money to buy his langot, that is more than enough. He has made such a bad condition of himself. So if I cannot get money, as in the sadhu cannot get money from him, then what is it that the sadhu is going to get? A free labor? Okay. But physically, the physique wise also, this guy is like, he's lost his health very badly. So he's also reaching a saturation point. Now, all we want is this exit to happen smoothly. Now, to answer your question, what we are doing here, there are learned people who are doing. I'm absolutely not even capable of being able to do anything. I am only someone who can read a chart and maybe something else. That's all. Can sense certain things, but that's it. That's where my reach stops. And I wish I could do more. I really wish. Because the kind of number of paranormal and such different cases I come across, I'm always more than keen wanting to dive deeper into the subject. And with time, I definitely will. I'm very clear about it. For these people, there are more learned people who have energies, support, strength to be able to help out such kind of cases. So those are the ones who take care of such cases. As an astrologer, we have a certain limited reach. Beyond that, sorry,
So,
we cannot
if
go.
a person has Moon, Rahu, Saturn in ninth house, is it like a sure shot that they, uh, I mean, things can happen to them, or?
No, not necessarily, Piaji.
Mhm.
Uh, I want to see the entire chart, and only then I can comment. Because
Okay. Yeah, I
seeing a
was referring to
partial,
my
I
daughter's chart
understand.
actually. Yeah,
I
yeah,
understand. See,
yeah.
because commenting on one planet, one combination, one location, no.
Mm,
Trines, aspects, degrees, positions, dasha,
mm,
D1, D9,
right.
lot matters.
Okay, okay,
In case
okay.
of the third case, the auntie's case with the brain issue, if I was to show you all the chart of her son and her husband, both of them clearly saying, as per BNN rules, certainly, we are going by pure Bhrigu Nandi Nadi, both of them clearly talking about unfortunately the difficulty the mother will have to go through. It's evident. I mean, you need seconds. You don't need minutes or minutes, like 5-10 minutes. I'm going to this nakshatra, this division, this divisional chart. Stick only to the Lagna chart. One look, you have the answer, and it's pretty evident, and it's going on. The husband as well as they have a single son, and both of the charts are clearly saying, showing about the hardships, the most difficult times the mother will have to go through. In her case, Venus is one of the blessings. So let's hope Venus again is Shukracharya, which is Mahadev. Let the blessings come. Apart from people, such things, apart from people, can such a thing be done to a place or home which affects the whole family? In that case, whose chart should be read? Okay. So Shmita ji, there is a case exactly of this kind as well. And for me, this has been, I've been dealing this, handling this case for almost a year now. No, I started handling the case from February 25. Yeah, if I'm not mistaken. But there's been always some amount of doubt. But I was not sure. Like, ठीक है, नहीं होगा. With time, certain more things started coming to light, and then that doubt was started. The doubt component started increasing. The weightage that I gave to that doubt component, that was higher. This case is that a family of four, husband, wife, brother, sister, and brother is high temperament. And when I say high temperament, have you all seen that, typical Sunny Deol movie where 1 against 50 is that category? Actually, that category. Unfortunately, I'm sorry to say this, but it's absolutely that category. He will not bother. And those 50 will step back. But because of this side of that behavior, I always had that doubt, kuch hai kya? But unable to catch it. And then I've been on this case for quite long, but that's a different case study category altogether. So I will not get into that discussion today. Uh, just 3 or 4 days back, I thought let's take this case for further inspection and let's try to understand if there is the paranormal side to it. And what we realized that yes, there is a paranormal side to it. However, A, the guy has super strong prarabdha, which definitely is there. He's a second house Rahu and a very, very, very worst of the difficult ones. Real difficult ones category. That category of second house Rahu. Mars absolutely placed at a position wherein anger is like super high. You don't need a spark. You don't even need a spark. Spark is it's also a very big thing. You just need a thought of it, and there you go. But still, the guy is clean. He's pure at heart. There are things which are a problem, but the guy is a gem. When it comes to language, if he gets angry, things are a problem. But otherwise, oh, you cannot even imagine. Such a sweet talker. Always ready to help anyone who is needy, like genuine needy. He won't care. I mean, he'll literally give away his ration to that person in order to help the guy. He is that category. A lot of plus points are there. I can actually keep going on, but the point what I'm trying to tell you over here, yes, there is a prarabdha element because of which, unfortunately, the poor soul is going through difficulties. There are mistakes which he is supposed to take care of because हमें पता है कि पारा इतना चढ़ता है, so you gotta be doing things so that you stay in control. And most importantly, uh, the problem in that case was something has been identified which has entered that family and in their house. The house is a very old and traditional one. They've been like they've been living in that house for almost 2 or 3 generations. Yeah, almost 3 generations. And still, in spite of that, such a thing has happened wherein this thing has entered the house. Now, this energy that entered the house is because of some other reason. Most probably, we believe that it was not being directed. Like, intentionally something is being done and because which is why the energy is reaching there. No, the energy reached for some other reason, but who is the prey over here? The weakest link in the family. The boy. This guy. The guy with extreme anger, lavish lifestyle, his temperament, what all not. Since I don't want to discuss the case at the moment, so I won't get into details of it. But he's the weakest link. Very fickle minded, no? Very, very, बहुत आसान है उसको पकड़ लेना. To keep him in control, play around with his thoughts and minds and uh, thinking. There are times wherein he literally thinks his whole family is his enemy, and there are times wherein he would want to flood you with love. Unfortunately, how did the family know who did the black magic? Did the concept? So no, the family didn't know that there is a black magic because this is not a case of black magic. This is really not a case of black magic. What this case is, so far, what we have understood is that there is some energy entity which has entered the home due to some reason. But this is not something done by someone intentionally. Yeah, there is a problem. There is a certain set of problem which is why I'm consulting. So that's a very different category altogether. But that problem has got to do with nothing because those guys they don't have enough courage to take such kind of steps and do black magic and all. And what kind of steps are being taken? So, like I said, there are much more knowledgeable people and people who are like who understand these energies far much more better. So they are the ones who are dealing with this now. But what these energies will want to do, what these energies will want to do with you is to satisfy their hunger, their desire for anything and everything that you can think of. Food, liquor, smoke, substances, pleasure, money, fight, rage, anger, pride, attention, world should look at me. It can be anything. There's so much of, so many branches of this ego and I, me, and myself that they would want. Because this soul is who? Someone who died unnaturally and, wasn't satisfied, hasn't achieved that particular end. And probably he liked you as a prey, finds you a weak link. Because this guy, the human being that you're seeing, probably is someone who lives by fear. When there is fear, that's where they are able to enter you or affect you or cause some kind of a harm or trouble on you. And that fear is not there. End of topic. करो जो करना है, कुछ नहीं कर सकते. That's why I said, your Ishtadev. He's the one. Many such places are there. Not good energy. Happens. Times today are different compared to the previous ones, but still there are people even today who live by such things. There is one more consultation I did 2 days back. This guy, unfortunately, at his workplace, working somewhere internationally, he has reached a point wherein he wants to resign from his job, a well-paying job, just because the roommates that he's living with are his office colleagues as well, and they all come from a single state, and this guy is from another state. And somehow they have a mindset that you are an outsider to us. We don't give a damn. We want you to fail. We want you to leave. We want you to collapse. And all kind of negative adjectives you can think of. And one of them has openly challenged him. You do whatever. You do whatever. You're going to lose your job. You're going to lose your pride. You lose this. You lose that. I'll have you thrown out. I saw the pic of that guy. I actually feel like, going on social media, ranting about this guy. But what good is that going to do? Probably, address my anger, actual anger. Because the poor soul is there to take care of his family. His parents are over here. The guy is, I think, around 34, 29, 30, 32. No, he's around 32, unmarried, single yet. And he's actually freaked out. Coincidentally, he spoke to me only, and we realized, like, no, not needed. And somehow I'm trying to convince him, you cannot keep running away from people. Such kind of people will keep coming to you in your whole life. Which chart shows our Ishtadev? Now, this is one question I always want to avoid. Whether on chat, whether on live, whether on our group conversations, I wish to avoid because BPHS has a different method. In fact, BPHS says when 3 or 4 planets gather, there's some astrologers who believe when 3, 4 planets gather, it's sannyas yoga. I fail to accept it. Maybe it is not those astrologers saying this. Maybe BPHS says this. Maybe. I don't know. But I completely disagree to that because I have plenty of such clients who have 3, 4 planets and beautifully placed. In fact, I have one of them which is even in 8th house. Capri ascendant, Jupiter, Rahu, Mars, Saturn, Jupiter, Rahu, Mars, Saturn. Yeah, 4 of them, 8th house. And just now their 8th house Mahadasha has started. And this person, crazy, hours of sadhana on our Ishtadev. So to answer your question, it's like BPHS has a different method for sannyas yoga. BNN has a completely different method for sannyas yoga. And when I try to take both the path, both the methods to analyze this way, I am more convinced about the results via my BNN. To answer your question, BNN has a very different method whereby we calculate it, but I will keep quiet about it. Why? Because the chart on the whole has to be studied and understood now. It cannot be like there's one person in a group who had actually announced, why don't you share with us, instead of the whole course, a small module, of marriage. So I'll only go to the marriage formula and I'll understand how to look at marriage in the chart. Another module for making money, another module for something else, something else, something else. So it cannot be that way. Astrology cannot be that way. This sounds so good for fun and humor, but that's about it. So my apologies, Aprajita ji. How to find that someone is under the control impact of good forces energy instead of bad forces? It will be visible. It will be visible, Taranjit ji. It will always be visible. It's an energy. ना जरा जानिए हो तो. Can you coexist with an house, or is it? I really still want to see your chart someday. I want to have that interaction, Soumya ji. To recollect last time on the live. So, can you coexist with an entity in the house, or is it risky? So there are, not all entities are bad. Not all entities are negative. I personally have had experiences in my own life with positive entities as well, for some other day. But not all entities are bad. Maybe that entity is aware that there is no escape to it. Maybe that entity belongs to a child or someone who was, unfortunately, who lost his life or her life before time without their will. It was not in their choice, and they lost their life, and they have not taken the wrong path. Such an entity is not going to be bad. So it depends, completely case to case basis. But to answer your question, no, not all entities are bad or negative, not at all. Taranjit ji, this is going to be part of. It's actually a much detailed part which I'm going to include in my course when I launch it, whenever I launch it. Because we as astrologer, now one more reason for me to share this subject and discuss about it. Like we jump on remedies. Someone has said, इस planet पे ये बैठा है, वहां बैठा है, ये कर लो, वो हो जाएगा. This stone, wear this stone, do this, do that. We jump on these remedies. And Smitaji said so rightly. Like, unfortunately, Lal Kitab, people have abused it. Such a beautiful knowledge bank, or, I'm unable to do justice by going short of words, but then it's such a pure subject and so powerful. People made unwanted drama out of it just to gain attention and viewership. In fact, I know of this guy who's been ranting around and telling people, "Oh, you want a job? You're not getting job. Why don't you do Ma Bagla Mukhi mantra?" Asking someone to do a mantra of Ma Bagla Mukhi just because you're not getting a job. That only either an unaware or insane person can do. गलती से कर सकता है या बेवकूफी से कर सकता है. Nothing else. I would call it बेवकूफी and गलती नहीं, बेवकूफी ज्यादा. So you cannot check only from chart just by giving that one single set of formula. We cannot jump around on remedies, whatever we come across over the internet blindly. Trust me, there are people who are desperately wanting to make sure that their videos get attention and publicity. They get likes and views so that an income check comes from YouTube. One more button comes from YouTube. So for that reason, you have to be careful about it. And with our interest in astrology, when we read someone's chart, we realize, okay, so and so planet with so and so planet, I see a possibility of maybe some kind of an accident could be possible, or maybe I see maybe you might have some digestive or intestinal issues or digestive issues. This problem is there, and we give away a remedy. But the picture doesn't stop there. It's far much more beyond. We are not aware. We are not aware. Any of these three cases, the guy being controlled by sadhu can be called by mainstream science can be called as a madman. He can be called as a madman. Someone who is probably a bipolar, someone who is, should be in like a pagal khana. I was at Kamakya, I saw this sadhu. And of course, I had my own set of interaction with various sadhus and various, what do you call, mathas. Good amount of time spent, a lot to learn, and lot much more of awareness that I know so little. But this guy, I didn't feel like even going towards him, not at all, because it was pretty obvious. He radiates negative energy. It's like somewhere on him can be seen. He radiates negative energy. So, Sir Taranjit ji, what you asked earlier, this energy can be clearly seen. You can feel that presence. अंदाजा आ जाता है. घर में किसी ना किसी को तो आ ही जाएगा. वो होता ही है. And how to check it from the chart? I'll be making it part of the course whenever we get into launching our course for BNN. Yes, I'll be launching it. I've shared it a couple of times even before. And we'll be announcing it very soon. Once I feel that Mahadev ji ka blessing hai, to we'll announce it. Yes, please, Neha ji, bataiye, what is the question?
Hi, Ankur. It was really nice listening to your voice in the morning. My
Oh,
question was,
yeah.
so this is matlab, from my personal experience. My father is very sensitive to all these things.
Correct.
Matlab, so I think what I'm trying to ask is, are there people who are more susceptible to sensing such kind of energy, or some people who would end up having these kind of paranormal experiences more often than others in family, and can it be seen through the chart? Ankur, I can't hear you. I don't know the
Not audible?
अभी अब नहीं, there is
Now,
some
yes.
problem with my device. Yeah, कुछ
Okay,
बीच में
okay.
drop.
Audible now?
हाँ.
So there's a super hilarious incident. I would actually love if I get to see some smileys coming in of that the laughter smileys after I've shared. So there's this friend of ours whose wife is a combination of a tiger,
Hmm.
cow, cow towards the friends, select friends, but tiger towards the husband, and their extreme version of probably Thanos and Iron Man. And every second there is a fight. Every second there is a fight. If she has to cook, probably she will end up cooking for too many number of people. But she's a kind at heart. She's a good soul. But cooking में थोड़ा सा ना, it's like होता है. Like Tarak Mehta, people want to run away from eating what Mehta's wife is gonna cook. If you all watch that, it's beautiful comedy. Same is the case out here. So what happened is like this lady, somehow there is something wrong with another friend's wife and this lady. There is something wrong. We don't know what. Absolutely no idea. So another friend's wife visits his home, and this third or fourth time such kind of an incident is happening. I'm not getting into. I'm unable to even recollect the past three ones. The fourth is the latest, so I can recollect. So our friend, he pleaded his wife, no, this time you got to come visit their home for Ganesh Utsav, and they visit. She wasn't ready, but somehow she agreed to it. Everything is going fine. He made sure that I'm not going to stay more than 10, 12, 14 minutes. Our friend also knew whose wife is having this problem. So our friend also knows this, and he's like, at least come and visit. And what happens? They're just about to leave. Until this point, there has been zero dialogue between the first friend and the second friend's wives. Zero dialogue. And there comes a statement. Oh, you're wearing a lovely dress. She actually wore a new dress, beautiful dress. She had liked it, got praises. So the previous friend's wife gave her a compliment. Within fraction of a second, the dress got stuck somewhere, torn.
ये तो काली जुबान
Beautifully
हो
torn. On the spot, right over there.
My
And हम
God.
सब जो हम लोग दोस्त थे, we were like, we knew now what is gonna come on us.
हम्म
We knew what is gonna come on us. Not from the Tiger Wise side, but this one, because
हम्म
ये actual में गाय है, हर तरह से डबल गाय वर्जन है इनका, cow raised to 2. और इनके साथ में इनके बीच में होता ही है. अब वो इसको जेलस बोले क्या बोले हमें नहीं पता.
हम्म
बहुत silly example था, but point is, a lot of people are there. They'll have such kind of vicious intent towards you. Oh, I love the way this guy talks, but then what does he think of himself? अरे भाई वो अपने बारे में भी नहीं सोच रहा है, तुम्हारे बारे में भी सोच रहा है. उसको मतलब ही नहीं है किसी चीज से. He is living his own life. You live your
हम्म
own life. But still people will have a problem.
हम्म
You can't help. You can't help.
True.
One
So
more thing.
there
I
are
guess
some people,
people.
there are some
Sorry,
people
go
who
ahead.
will act. Sorry, Shubhraji, I'll just complete and then please add it up. So there are some people who will actually get affected very strongly, like fifth house Saturn.
हम्म Fifth
गीता
house
जी हैं
Saturn.
आप लाइन पे?
So fifth house Saturn, what, Ankur?
फिफ्थ हाउस सैटर्न वालों को तो कई बार प्यार मिल जाता है, ऐसा जेलसी वाला प्यार.
My husband is fifth house Saturn. I don't know if you remember हम ये
आई
बात कर रहे
रिकलेक्ट, आई रिकलेक्ट, आई
हाँ.
रिकलेक्ट, कंप्लीटली
So
रिकलेक्ट.
when you say like affect हो जाता है, do they get affected or they're intuitive to see such things coming?
नो, गेट अफेक्टेड विथ ईविल आई. विथ ईविल आई एम
हाँ
सेइंग दैट्स ऑल.
होती है. मुझे तो लगता है उसे समझ में नहीं आता, पर मुझे लगता है उसे नजर लग जाती है
फिफ्थ
जबकि
हाउस में
सास.
होता है, वो भी रेट्रो वाला हुआ तो फोर्थ में
हम्म
जाके 4 8 12
हम्म
के टाइम के साथ में बैठ के वो असर आने वाला है. सिक्स हाउस में बैठा होगा, स्टार्टिंग की तीसरी दृष्टि अष्टम स्थान पे, ये आने वाला
हम्म
है. तो देर आर सर्टेन कॉम्बिनेशन, सर्टेन पोजिशंस वो डेफिनेटली सिग्निफाई कि नजर होगी. एंड फाइनली व्हाट इज नजर? इट्स एन
हम्म
एनर्जी.
हाँ करेक्ट. हाँ
It's
हाँ
in a way, it's like non-verbally,
हम्म
non-action way में कोसना, abuse करना,
हम्म
etc. etc. It's bound to have
तो
its
इसे
effect.
prevent कैसे करें? Like how do you prevent yourself? Like if अगर से ऐसा है.
कुछ हद तक आप प्रिवेंट कर सकते हैं अगर आप इष्ट के राह पे हैं तो.
हम्म
बाकी आपकी अच्छाई, आपके प्रारब्ध है, आपके
हम्म
फोरफादर्स की ब्लेसिंग्स हैं, आपके पितरों की ब्लेसिंग्स हैं. जहाँ पितरों
हम्म
की ब्लेसिंग प्रॉब्लम होगी तो वहाँ वो गड़बड़ हो जाएगा. अगर नवम में राहु ही जाके बैठ गया,
हम्म
गई भैंस पानी में.
Name
तो ये
one more
प्रॉब्लम.
thing. Like what I was referring to my father's this thing. He's an Aquarius Lagan and he has eighth house में Venus and Saturn. He could see entities. Like उनके life
हम्म
में तो when we were small, we would sit down and listen to his ghost story with so much
हम्म.
husband. But he had
इनके
had
राहु
like
मून का है.
same as mine. I think 12 6. 6 is Ketu and 12 is Rahu. Um,
मून,
नहीं, अच्छा ये
राहु एंड
याद.
मून. मून.
Moon, I don't remember. I don't remember his moon. Mars is
ओके,
in tenth. I'll share. But he had
प्लीज
seen
डू.
so many entities, and especially when he was younger.
करेक्ट.
I don't know. Yeah, अब देखते हैं तो वो बताते नहीं हैं. But so I was just wondering कि are some people more?
Absolutely, they are. Because
Yeah.
this, see, not everyone can see this. Please understand.
Hmm.
So, for example, there are 10 people, just for an example purpose. 10 people are
Hmm.
there. Out of that 10, 5 cannot even see. They don't even believe. 5 can see, but that's it. But out of those 5, there are 2 who can even release them.
अच्छा. Okay.
Is that a capability? No. They have tried to work on it. They have received
Hmm.
guidance, knowledge, learnings, based
Hmm.
on which they have reached a stage they can release them.
Hmm.
एंड कुछ के लिए ना वो इनहेरेंटली आप तक है, आपके पास है, आप तक आया है वो नॉलेज
Hmm.
आपके पास से. previous lives say. So that's the answer. Some cannot even see. To some, it doesn't even matter. To some, they definitely feel. जुपिटर केतु का मैंने मेंशन किया था शुरुआत में. इनके जो अनुभव होते हैं ना तीर्थ स्थलों पे या सर्टेन मंत्र चैंट्स पे, बहुत ही ब्यूटीफुल. मतलब उनको लिटरली ऐसा लगता है यार, आई एम अवेयर ऑफ इट. इनफैक्ट आर सब्जेक्ट, आर ओन सब्जेक्ट, एस्ट्रोलॉजी, most of the learned people say we don't choose the subject, we don't choose astrology, astrology chooses us. And with the past life connect has been there, is there or not with the subject, it's very easy to understand for each one of us. If we, while studying a particular concept, how easily you are able to grasp it, even if you're learning it for the first time, it's just somehow coming to you. And it's even somewhat like, I have a feel, I'm aware of it. यार मैंने कोई किताब नहीं पढ़ी, कोई वीडियो नहीं देखा, किसी सुना नहीं, कुछ नहीं, बट वो ना एक एहसास है. एंड दिस इज योर ऑनेस्ट वन. सी, इट्स यू टॉकिंग टू यू. उससे क्या ही झूठ बोलोगे. कोई दिखावे के लिए कोई आदमी बोल भी रहे हैं, देयर आर मेनी सच पीपल, बट उससे आप क्या ही झूठ बोलोगे. दैट इज वेयर यू विल गेट द आंसर. Oh, I've been with this subject even in the past. Same comes over here. Oh,
True.
I've been having this blessing coming to me from the past. ऐसा.
Thank you, Ankur.
Most welcome.
Ankur
Any
ji,
more questions? हाँ जी. हाँ जी शुभ्रा जी
just
पहले. हाँ जी बताइए
yeah, go
बताइए.
ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead,
Yeah,
go ahead,
Shobhit, tell me.
Shubhra ji.
No, you can
Just had a
continue.
question. Just had a question. What's the difference between realms and dimensions? Like, is there when you mention like other entities or entities that you're experiencing are from lower realms, right?
Correct.
And then when
It's
we are
like
talking about alien
in a certain
entities, people
dimension.
mention that. Okay.
Go on, please go on. Sorry to interrupt.
No, I just wanted to say that like when people mention that alien entities are at a dimensional level, when you're saying entities at realm, is there a difference between like realms and the dimensions?
Okay. Let's first begin with aliens. Aliens, technically, as per the dictionary, is anything which is not living on this earth. Within our limited knowledge of mankind, what we know, the only way to come on this planet is via being born. Correct? I
Right.
had birth on this planet. That's how I have arrived here. More or less applicable to almost all the living beings. The techniques of birth might differ and change. That's okay. Anything which is not being born over here and doesn't exist from here is an alien to us. In a way, even Mahadev is an alien, for example. Or any form of life which is in some other part of the world, within our dimension, is also an alien. So, like of lately, there was leopard marks being seen on the surface of Mars. Leopard mark doesn't mean the marks of the leopard skin or something like that. They are being called as leopard marks because they resemble marks of the leopard skin. But those are as a result of life actually existing on the planet at certain point of time in the past. Now they are aliens, absolutely aliens. Or maybe we never know. Maybe that is one of us. Maybe that is tiny 2,000 years back or 5,000 years back, moving from Mars to Earth. We don't know. But technically, they are aliens to us today. To answer what is the realm, let's go to realm for now. A realm is a place, like Earth is a place within our dimension. So, Earth, in this physical space, there is something more. Within this physical space, there is something more. And anyone who would like to debate on this I would love to talk, not debate. Love to talk. Because Dr. Mishra Kaku, the last beautiful conversation I have from his side is he's openly shared about mathematically it's proven that there are almost still 13 dimensions they could reach. And the dimension was solid. Solid as in like not a state of matter, but the whole thing was still stable. Beyond 13, it collapses. It couldn't sustain. So let's start from what is this dimension? Simple example. I'm sure most of you are so well educated and learned. You all must be knowing, but this is a very basic example I can actually mention. A piece of paper and moving on a piece of paper. Okay, so ant is moving. It's a piece of paper. You place a piece of paper before it. This ant can actually only see a dot, like that line sort of thing. Ant is not capable to see the human form. Ants cannot see the human form or anything three-dimensional. To them, their world exists only limited to that particular spot, that line, 2D, two-dimensional. But within that same space, in another dimension, I shouldn't even call another dimension because technically we are 3D and that 2D is automatically part of it. But still, maybe we can take a liberty of saying that as a part of metaphysics. So philosophy does come in over there as well. We can witness that ant. We can also witness everything else every life form who is part of the 3D. Now you add time also over here. So time as a part of the space fabric, fourth dimension. So now we are a four-dimension being. Wow, great, amazing. But for that particular ant to us is far much more behind, not yet evolved. And from the ant's perspective, we are far superior. But who knows what else is there in the dimension beyond fourth dimension, as proven mathematically by various scientists and shared by Michio Kaku. Point number one. As spoken in our Puranas, when lakhs and lakhs and lakhs versions of Michio Kaku have been born and died way before that. Multiverse. Sanatan always has known multiverse is there. Not the first time. No single Brahma, no single Vishnu, no single Mahesh. There are more and more. And then there is Para Brahma and Para Vishnu. It's beyond our fathom to even think of it, the scale. So within this particular dimension, now I and the ant, as in we, the humans, who are a 4D being, fourth dimension beings, are existing. But we don't know, right in this space, there is something else. But I cannot reach there. A treasure act, for example, is a very good example for fifth dimension. In fact, treasure act is considered to be the best example for a fifth dimension. And exaggerated funny form of it is seen in Avenger movies where Loki
Yeah,
has this
right.
cube sort of a thing. That's Tesseract that they showed. They take too much of liberty, unwanted exaggeration. So it's fun. When you know the theory, it's real fun to watch it, how they're playing with it. So there is a fifth dimension, there is sixth dimension, 7, 8, 9. I think 8 is a little unstable, but then 9, 10, 11, 12, and it goes till 13. Beyond 13, difficult and weak. Complex. It collapses. So within a particular dimension, now there can also be two different realms, like what is said about Shambhala.
Right.
If you know, how many of you all know about Shambhala?
I've heard of Shambhala.
You said, Shamaji? Okay,
Yeah,
good,
yeah.
good, good. So there is Shambhala. which is the abode of Mahadev. And there is far much many things over there, more beyond that we can even imagine. The earth doesn't end over there. Things are said even about Arctic. We don't know. But just because I am not aware, can its presence be actually denied? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. So any other being existing, coexisting without knowledge of each other in the same dimension but in a different realm, that's a good example of answering your query.
Got it, Ankurji. It is very clear. I think what I understood that ant example is very, very clear because we
Right.
are ants to probably a seventh dimensional being, you know.
Absolutely.
So,
Correct. Correct.
right.
Correct. Uh, Shubhraviji, I'm sorry I had interrupted. You wanted to share
Yes.
something before
No, I'm
my
good. Thank you.
earplugs lose power? Yeah.
No, but I'm good. Thank you so much. A lot has been answered through others' questions and answers. So thank you so much. And your answers, I would say. But yeah, it reminds me of Ant-Man because like the visuals and everything, because
Yeah,
once
yeah.
you go really small and then you are able to see those things that normally you would not be able to see. But yeah,
Correct.
interesting session. Thank you.
Hanumanji. The
Exactly.
whole thing comes from there. Veer Hanuman. Okay, what's Nazar? Can you please elaborate? Energy, drishti, ill wishes, cursing. You know, when there are a lot of people who actually curse other person, maybe out of an anger. Oh, this guy did this to me. May he go to hell. May he rot in there. May he fallen over here. They don't realize a lot of it comes back. And while I'm saying this, even I must have done, I have definitely have done this kind of a stupid mistake in my life. I'm sorry about this, but we end up doing these mistakes. But what goes beyond this, out of jealousy, just because someone is blessed with something, maybe the other person has great looks, good hairs, uh, financially they're really well off, great car, maybe a good looking wife, maybe girlfriend, relationship, brother, father, good understanding between the family, all living together. Reasons की कमी नहीं है sir. Reasons की कमी नहीं है. Reason could be absolutely anything. But one smallest reason is enough for the other person to feel jealous because of something they don't have. What they are doing is they're spoiling their whole entire life. पूरा लाइफ प्रारब्ध के बाहर सारे ही जीने वाले हैं उधर ही मर के गल जाएंगे because they are not focusing on rising themselves, rather cursing someone else. Now with this thing, this negative energy, energy to energy है ना, मतलब you take a magnifying glass, let it focus on a piece of paper, it is bound to burn the paper. It's not going to question is the piece of paper innocent or not. It's never gonna ask. It will never ask what mistake did the piece of paper make. Let's say some kid or maybe one of some psycho guy, there is an ant on the table and someone is playing with it, intentionally killing it. Did that ant do anything to this guy? No, for the fun of it, want to kill it. What do you call this? Negative energy. So anything which is negative, it will give its outcome. Energy can neither be created nor be destroyed. It will only convert from one form to another. गोरे बड़े खुश होते हैं इस बात से लेके उन्हें लगता है उन्होंने बड़ा जहां हासिल कर दिया इसके ऊपर. What we have is far much more beyond. So that's all. I hope I could answer the question, Chandana ji. All right, it's 12:16 a.m. and my headphones are wanting to sleep. They lose the power. Let's look forward to another session next time. It's some good, interesting topic. I hope I could bring some interest. There is a laughter coming in. Why? I didn't make a joke yet. गलती से दब गया यार, हंसी आ गई तो मैं सरप्राइज हो रहा हूँ जी. Anyway, hope this was a good session. Hope you all could get some information, some knowledge, some interaction. Look forward to catch up with you all next time again. Oh, headphone comment. Oh. Okay. Yeah. Ajit, genuinely, it's been like pa, and I'm like, control kar yaar, thoda seh le. Okay, thank you so much. See you next time, next on another topic, and catch up again. Bye-bye. Har Har Mahadev.
Yeah, Har Har Mahadev. Thanks, Ankur. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Har Har Mahadev. Bye bye.